Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Howe. I'm the acting chairman of the City of Hopkinsville's Code Enforcement Board, and we're going to call this meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call.
Rodney Davis, James Bruce, Tyler Young, Tony Meacham,
Here.
David Howe.
Here.
Calvin Brooks,
Here.
Bertha Wimberly,
Here.
Connie McGahee. We have a quorum.
Roll has been called. We have a quorum. If you would, let's all stand as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on our agenda is approval of our last meeting's minutes from May 28th. They should be found in the board packet. We'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and properly seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any reports from staff? Not seeing any. Next up is public hearings. Do we have any representative from Glenn and Edna Mashburn? Okay, and we don't have, do we have any representative from Dolly Havard and or Karen Parker? Okay, so no one present. Let's just take them in order. We'll hear the city's case and go from there. I need to read all this still, right? Yeah. We'll skip that. All right, we will, since nobody is here, none of the representatives are here, we're going to skip the part where I read a lot, and we'll go right to the city's case. Looks like the first one is Mark DeArmond. If you would step forward, I'll get you sworn in and let you get started. Mr. DeArmond, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do. I do. Thank you. If you would please state your full name, employer, and position for the record. In front of the mic, I'm sorry.
Mark DeArmond, Code Enforcement Officer with the Hopkinsville Fire Department.
Would you please describe the procedure followed for the citation for the, nope, I don't read that for this. It's not a default final order, right? Let's get
As long as he's been sworn in, he's good.
Were the procedures mandated by Chapter 33 of the Code Enforcement followed for this case?
Yes.
Thank you. The floor is yours.
On May 30th, 2024, an inspection was conducted at 120 Lancaster Street. And for those y'all don't know, this is off of Sanderson Drive, west side off of Dawson Road. Lancaster's is two streets, both of them dead end, both called Lancaster Street. And this house, 120, dead ends on the T of Lancaster. And we were there looking at this property with Officer Jeffrey Watkins to post it for grass when we looked at the conditions of the home. This photo shows a Google Street View, does not give the date, but it was occupied at some point. Property is owned by Glenn and Edna Mashburn, mailing address at 120 Lancaster. The location of the house is on 120 Lancaster, and their mailing address continues to be 120 Lancaster. During the walk around on May 30th, the first photo on the left is a side door that was not locked, that it was able to go in and got a quick look of the interior that was clutter on the outside. So the investigation continued, and on June 5th, a citation for unsafe structures was issued. This shows that the property in question was submitted to the local newspaper on June 18th, giving the address saying that this hearing is be taking place on June 25th. Again, we inspected on May 30th. Citation for an unsafe structure issued on June the 5th. Notice of the hearing was published in the local paper on June 18th. Board meeting was set for today, June 25th, and as of today, there's been no contact nor communication from the property owners. A review of the utilities found that the water has been off for 5 years. Electric's been off for 6. Gas has been off for just shy 4 years. Chapter 163.03 is the basic property maintenance, and we use section 108, 1.1 and its appendix to complete our investigation. As a refresher, these slides and the numbers represent the unsafe structure checklist that we go through on a structure that we believe to be unsafe. Item number 1 is a foundation, and there are evidence of the concrete block foundation crumbling and some sedimentation cracks in places around the building. The exterior walls, there are some spotted decay along the roof line, several spots of exposed wood and decay showing around the house and around the windows. These 2 photographs give an illustration of but some of those. With the window broken, it's in the center. The far left photograph shows damage to the window frame in the far end of that photo. And the right photo is again the door that we'll get into here momentarily, that with broken glass and not secure. Extensive amount of trash on the right side of the house and the rear of the home, varying from tires to tubs to trash and junk. A good selection of it. Inside, and I'll explain what's available, but first let me say that the inspection interior is limited to some 8 feet from the front wall to the back and the entire width of the home. And I'll illustrate that with the photograph here in a minute. So we're looking at a very small portion of the home that looks to be occupied with clothing. You'll see some food particles and amongst other clutter. So the interior structure was accessible through that one door. The center photo would be the entrance to the rest of the home that's been blocked up by exterior window shutters that's screwed to the wall, covered with this blanket. Access to the rest of the home was not, or the structure was not possible. Item number 12 of the checklist talks about the interior walls are not plumb or in water damage or so forth. The question marks are this: there was not enough wall space to really look. What I could see was not truly all that damage. We are giving them credit for item 12. We are not calling that a positive in the unsafe structure checklist, but I want to illustrate the situation and the difficulty was given in trying to look inside and evaluate the walls as well as the floors. The floors of what I could walk around and walk on was not weak, nor did I find any holes. What little bare portion of the floors that was available. Electrical outlets were bare. The ceiling light was bare. But remember again, the electrical has been discontinued for some years. This plaster on the finished ceiling inside is peeling, and typically that plaster is placed over drywall. When drywall gets wet, that's when the plaster historically and traditionally will peel. We're saying that's evidence of a leak and damage at some point that's causing that plaster to peel. And that was some 3 or 4 places that was evident. So here's where I'm trying to illustrate that house. To the right of this photograph, some 3 to 4 feet past the front corner, was the door in question that I was able to get into. That space that was inspected covers the entire width of the house, right to left to right, call it whichever. And maybe some 8 feet deep at most. The rest of the home was blocked by those shutters that I illustrated in the photo earlier. Hopkinsville Electric pulled the power in April 2018. Item 17. Item 18 of the checklist says the structure has a fuse panel or breaker box which has open circuits. Did not see a breaker box. It's probably on the other side of the house. So they got credit for, were given credit for, item 18 because it was not visible we put our eyes on. Gas meter was pulled July 2020. Item number 20, plumbing appears inoperable. That's not Mark's words. That's what the checklist says. The water was disconnected in February 2019. Plumbing is probably not operable. Again, to the limited interior inspection, the plumbing fixtures or the hot water heater did not see. As of today, the property hasn't changed. You'll see the grass has been mowed by the neighbor on the left and made a pass in front between the street and towards the mailbox of 120. Take a look at the photo on the right. In the backyard of the neighbor's house, you see a children's playground equipment. Remember that, if you will, when we get through the checklist here in a second. So the checklist for the exterior of the building is 5 out of 8, or 63%, as an unsafe structure. Interior structure, see the question marks, and those are the ones we illustrated before. Those that are with question marks that we could not lay eyes on, they were scored a no. 4 of them. So even with those taken out of the equation, there's still 60% of the interior and the electrical and gas and plumbing, 60% unsafe. All right. The next to the last item that you see underlined in red says specifically the conditions in which this structure, which is dangerous, injurious, or health safety to the occupants or the adjoining properties. The playground tells me that there's children in the neighborhood, and this house has conditions that I would submit is not safe for children. It is not a scoreable item. It is just an item to be mentioned. Leaving out the 4 that we talked about that were in question, this structure meets 61% of the unsafe structure checklist. If the 4 that we questioned, if we want to debate and discuss, were in fact unsafe, the score would change to 78%. There is a timing issue with looking at historical activity with code violations by virtue of changing from one system to the other within the city. We do know on May the 2nd, a grass case was submitted against this property. There could be others, but that system has been closed out for now, and so we could not look at historical activities of basic property maintenance or other activities on this property. But we do know as of this afternoon that the city has just over $4,200 in liens against this property. That makes sense? Okay. Questions?
I'll start. So the $4,200, I understand we switched systems, and so you can't see all the detailed backup data behind all those numbers, but you got $4,200 worth of outstanding liens on that property that is not necessarily attached to that property owner, right? It's the property itself. And so kind of back up in the timeline, I think you covered it earlier. How long has this been the property owner? I think you probably said that up front.
I did not say. Let's see if it shows up on the.
Yeah, slide 5 probably.
It does not show on the snippet that I use.
D614. So you showed a picture of cracks in the foundation, and it was right at something that it looked like an attempt at a window well at a crawl space. You see the glass there, so it didn't look like there was a basement, but a window well. Did you see any other cracks in the foundation?
Limited. Mortar joint cracks more than anything else.
Okay. And I'll just offer that I know I've been on the dilapidated board for a while, and always one of the concerns has been, and it's right in the ordinance, is about fire damage. Is a structure that is exposed, you could say, or suspect to loss by fire. And that it's not one of your 20 checklist items, but that is definitely something that we consider. And to me, this one has that quality to it. So I'll concede the floor if anybody else has questions.
Mr. DeArmond, just to verify, you said there were some areas that you couldn't get into the house, into
That's
certain
correct.
rooms, and that's because a lot of stuff in the rooms. Is that correct?
The inability to enter the rest of the home centers is specifically due to this photo right here, right behind the blanket, right here. Right behind this blanket, these are exterior window shutters that are screwed to the wall that is the opening to the rest of the home.
So these pictures that we're seeing strictly just shows basically one room.
That's right.
Any other questions from board members? And just to restate, you issued the citation on the 5th of June and have not heard anything from the property owner, correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Mr. DeArmond. Board members, any discussion on this case? We don't have the property owner here to offer a counter.
In violation.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion and deem that the violation is appropriate.
It's a motion and a proper second. Are there any questions on the motion or further discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by the sound of aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Sorry.
I'd like to do a roll call vote, please.
Tyler Young.
Here.
Tony Meacham.
Yes.
Calvin Brooks.
Yes.
Bertha Wimberly.
No.
Connie McGahee. Passes as a yes.
3 plus an abstention would be 4. I'll make 5.
It's 4-1.
Without me, right?
Yes.
I think, motion carries, has been deemed unsafe. And now to the penalty phase. Mr. Whelan, would you please remind us what the range is?
350 to 700 with a $200 administrative fee.
We will entertain a motion. And please include in the motion, we need to put this on the city's list to demo and have the cost of the fine placed against the property.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion. And go ahead and have this property demolished and include a $50 administration fee
200.
or $200 administration fee.
Cowan, just to clarify, the fine could be $350 to $700.
Two, it's fine. Oh, it's-
No,
I thought it was.
350 to 700.
The fine is $350
oh,
to
it's
$700.
350. The minimum is 350.
350 plus the 200.
Okay, plus the administration fee.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and proper second. All in favor, let it be known by the sound of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have one more hearing tonight. Mr. West is our code enforcement officer for this one. It's case number CE BPM 2404001. Dolly Havard, care of Karen Parker, 116 South Campbell Street. Before we begin, I'd like to just remind the board that we saw this one last time and we chose to table it because the property owner was going to sign the consent. I want to let Mr. Willen update the board with what he told me a few minutes ago.
It's my understanding the consent has been signed and emailed, is that correct? But you do not have the actual consent in hand. So it would be my advice to go ahead and have the hearing out of an abundance of caution, to hear the case, to give them the due process. And then if you do find it's an unsafe structure, the consent will then be followed up on after the hearing.
Thank you. Darnell, would you please state your, excuse me, let's raise your right hand first. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say, I do.
I do.
Would you please state your full name, employer, and position for the record?
My name is Darnell West. I work for Hopkinsville Fire Department as a code enforcement officer.
Were the procedures mandated by Chapter 33 of the Code of Ordinances followed for this case?
To the best of my knowledge.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
All right. So today I bring you guys 116 South Campbell Street. This structure was originally cited, I want to say 3 to 4 times for basic property maintenance issues, exterior issues. There was a broken window. The side door on the structure was open to the public, allowing anybody to have access inside. So since then, this property has went neglected. No work has been done and no responses has been made. So because of that, I felt like it was probably time to go ahead and start the unsafe structure process on it. And in doing so, before I get to that point, this is the Google Street View. This is back in 2022. And as you can see, that door, I don't know why my arrow was off like that. That door is wide open right there on the side of the house. This is why you don't let people touch your slideshows. All right. Right here is a aerial map of where the structure sits on South Campbell Street next to that alleyway right there. And to the right of that would be your PBA, property owner information, and where we send all of our notices and things of that nature. This is a front view of the structure. And I'm sorry, let me back up. The original, the first inspection that incurred for an actual unsafe structure was on March the 25th of this year. But this is the front view, side, right side, left side, where the open side door is, and this would be the back side. I would say the exterior looks pretty good. It's that all brick exterior, but the interior is going to be our money shots. So, utility termination dates. The water has been off at this property since 2019. Actually, all of the utilities have been disconnected since 2019. We pull our checklist from the basic property maintenance code, and just to go through some of the numbers, the foundation was okay. However, there is a nice size crack on the exterior wall. I mean, you really can't judge a foundation with an all brick structure like this, but there is, like I said, a nice size crack going up that exterior wall right there. The porch was in good shape. Handrails would be non-applicable. There was not 3 or more rises on the property. However, when it comes to the roof, as you can see here, shingles are missing. And anybody knows once those shingles are gone, it's going to allow some water on the inside. Not only that, but you have some fascia and soffit right here. That is definitely in decay and will allow any little critter that can crawl up in there to get there. The chimney was not applicable. They did not have a chimney on the structure. And this here, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but the window on the right closest to us, that one has broken glass in it. And then this one here is just showing where some of the wood, and I guess that would be chip and paint, but some of the wood is deteriorating on this window right here. The rest of the windows look pretty good. However, this one on the very back of the structure was wide open. And also windows and doors. The left side, that side door is wide open. That back window, as stated before, it is also open, allowing anybody access to be able to get inside the interior of the structure. This is where I made my grand entrance, and as you can see, the flooring is pretty much non-existent. It is real bad once you step inside of there. There was no trash on the property. I cite it pretty regularly. The city goes and mows it and removes all the down trees or whatever out there. Shouts out to the street department, our abatement crew guys. It was not a mobile home, so this would not be an applicable item. And now we get into the money shots. So the interior of the structure is accessible. Back to that side door and that window again. And this is what you see once you step on the inside. I have arrows pointing to holes in the walls and also circles showing you where mold is. And we all, if you do not know where mold come from, it comes from moisture. So that's letting us know that there is some water getting in behind or on these walls. So there, I would say walls are somewhat out of plumb with the holes, but also there are signs of water damage. And as you can see, that hot water heater is about to fall straight through that bad boy right there. More signs of, I guess, I don't know if that would be dirt or mold, but a little combination of both right here in this circle on the right-hand side. A little close up so you can kind of get a good picture of the flooring in that kitchen area. And back again to the kitchen where the hot water heater is. And also the picture on your right, I know it's kind of hard to tell, but that wood flooring has kind of warped. You can see if you look toward the top of the picture of the right, where the ceiling has failed, you can kind of see that nice lump right there. But that whole floor right there is starting to roll up like carpet. This is a picture of the bathroom, the flooring in the bathroom, and like I said, it's just, you got to kind of look. The pictures don't do it very much justice, but you can see the indentions where the flooring is failing, and also right here on the picture on the left, where the heating apparatus is just pretty much falling through the floor. So the flooring in the entire house was pretty bad. Electrical switches and outlets, those were pretty good, I guess. I mean, none of them were really in bad shape. All of them had face plates. And this is the ceiling in the, I guess that would be like the front room, living room area. And then this is in one of the bedrooms. That's the hallway looking back toward the kitchen. And like I said, that front room. And as you can see, the ceilings are pretty much on the floor. You know what I'm saying? It's those shingles that's missing from the roof are allowing water to, seep down, and it's pretty much just destroying that ceiling inside the house. There was no stairways. This would be non-applicable. It was a single-story house. The structure has had the electric removed. This was, so the pictures from March the 25th to March the 28th. So within those 3 days, the electric meter had been removed. There was a fuse box, but none of the panels were missing. So we gave them that one. Gas meter had been removed. Plumbing definitely appears to be inoperable. I mean, they don't even have, faucets and things of that nature in certain places. And like I stated earlier, the water has been off since 2019. No accessory structure on the property. And as far as the checklist goes, the first page which was strictly just interior items. We scored it. I scored it a 4 out of 7, with items 4, 6, and 10 being non-applicable items. And then you have the interior, electrical, gas, and plumbing, scoring a 8 out of 10. No accessory structure on the property. Overall conditions, all 3 of those were checked off as a yes. Since the initial inspection, the property has gotten worse. I would consider the initial inspection being backdated from the very first property maintenance case, and I have that in the slideshow as well. This is dangerous to the neighboring neighbors toward the property. So all of those, I would say, for a grand total of 12 out of 17, giving us clear over the 51%. And this was when the citation was issued on April the 5th. This is a picture from where we were supposed to meet the last meeting. No changes, and the grass has been mowed. Shout out to my abatement crew, guys. These are pictures of today. So no changes with the property. I don't know why I got 2 of the same pictures. Oh, there we go, right there. Showing you where the roof is still bad, doors are still wide open. This is showing you where the property was posted in the Kentucky New Era twice, for the previous meeting and for today's meeting. Timeline, if you guys want to go through that. I'm pretty sure I'm tired of hearing me speak. I did speak with Miss Karen Parker. She is the in care of for the property. The first conversation was to have the meeting tabled. This was early, May? And she and her sister were going to sign the consent and release forms and have those ready for us today, or for the last meeting. She just needed more time to get a hold of the sister. She did have those signed. She did email them to me, but as Willen stated, they did not send us the physical copy of the consent form yet. So we're still waiting on that. I'll try to reach out back to her and see about, when she thinks she'll have that in the mail for us. Previous cases on the property. So this property has had several grass, trash, and weed cases, but if you look 4 up from the bottom, the original basic property maintenance case started back in, this was 2023, and they were sent a notice of violation then for the basic property maintenance. That case ended in 3 citations and no response. That's why this unsafe structure case was not sent a notice of violation. We felt like we've given them plenty of chance and opportunity to contact us about the issues with the structure. The total liens were, as of last month, of almost $10,000. I'm pretty sure with the previous grass, trash, and weed citation and the abatement crew going over there and mowing it, it's probably a little closer to 10,000 by now. So, any questions?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
When they dilapidate, or when they not dilapidate, when they tear down a lot of these structures, do they try to salvage any of the materials?
That would be a question for some of the demo guys. I think possibly. I mean, they'll try to get maybe some of the good wood or some of the good bricks out of it. But
Well, I'm thinking, that particular property had some nice brick on it.
right. Yeah.
Water heater, of course, is used, but it still looked like it was in decent shape. But little things like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. I couldn't
Okay.
answer that for you. I don't know, but maybe so.
Okay.
Any other questions from board members? Thank you, Darnell. All right, so we've heard the case, and again, this one was tabled from last month because they were going to sign the consent release. We've seen evidence that they have signed the consent release and kind of taken on faith that we'll get it, but we wanted to go ahead and have the hearing, make a ruling so that this board has acted, and we're not wasting another month waiting for a document that maybe doesn't get in here. So we'll go ahead and hear a motion as to whether you believe this one to uphold the violation.
Mr. Chairman, based on the evidence, I would like to make a motion that the property is in violation and is an unsafe structure.
Second.
Had a motion and a proper second. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And we will go to the penalty phase. And so the range is $350 to $700 for the fine with a $200 administration fee. Mr. Willen, will you remind us, if they do a consent release, is there a difference in the amount that they pay?
The difference is we're not going to have individual liability. The city's ability will be only to recover the abatement cost as of the value of the property on a lien. It's already $10,000 lien, so the city will never be able to recoup in the event this property is sold, but whatever it brings at a public auction, that will go back to the city.
Okay. So our decision at this point is the same?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so we'll entertain a motion on the penalty.
Yes, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion that we do a $350 fine with a $200 administrative fee, and that we move forward abating this property.
Second.
And just to clarify, Bertha, and have the cost of the abatement placed as a lien on the property?
Yes, sir.
Right, very good. Thank you. We have a motion and a proper second. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That is all of our hearings for tonight. Unfinished business other than hearings, we have none. Agenda item 8, new business other than hearings. We have fines paid, and then we have default final orders. Do we have two different motions for that? Okay. Mr. West, you're already standing up. Would you like to come forward and handle the rest of them for us? Sure. And that'll cover that and all the rest. All right, Darnell, first we'll go with the Chilton Family Trust, case number CEGTW 2404-138. That one is under fines paid. Would you please describe the procedure followed for each citation on the agenda for default final order?
Yes, sir. So with each one of these, as long as they weren't a repeat offender, a notice of violation was sent for the violation found on the property, giving them 10 days to respond or to fix the issue. If they did so, or if they did not do so, a citation was issued upon the second inspection and brought before you guys today.
And again, were the procedures mandated in Chapter 33 of the Code of Ordinances followed for the cases presented here?
To the best of my knowledge.
Thank you. And for agenda item A, we just need a motion for this to uphold the violation, right? Because they've already paid the fine. Okay, so for A, we just need a motion to uphold the violation.
Mr. Chair, on item 8A, I would like to issue a proposal that we uphold the violation that is stated.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now for agenda items 8B through E, should be agenda item E there at the end. Those are all default final orders, and we can take those all under one motion.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion that on items 8B through 8D, that all fines that are listed as stated be issued for the violations with the administrative fee of $100.
Is it 100?
Second.
$100. So the administration fee is 100 for these. It's been motioned and properly seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Are there any announcements from members, board members, or staff? Seeing none, we will stand adjourned.
Let's go.